The second day of the ANC's NGC is dedicated to policy discussions with delegates breaking into 10 commissions. We cross now live to our reporter, Natasha Phiri. Natasha, very good afternoon again to you. Just give us a sense then in terms of just some of these discussion points and what is top of mind now for those delegates.
Thank you so much, Unaiti. A lot of discussion points from those NGC documents are actually taking place behind closed doors, where over 2,000 delegates of the ANC are deliberating and taking stock and review of these policies and the state of the organization. Of course, we've been speaking to various provincial leaders of the ANC across all 9 provinces. And joining me now is a person who's no stranger, an ANC veteran. In 2015, he was the head of policy of the ANC, and now he serves as the ANC's KZN task team convener, and that is Jeff Radebe. And of course, you would know, Unathi, yesterday in the ANC Secretary General report, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, he had highlighted that actually KZN, the ANC in KZN, is one of the worst performing municipalities. You would remember that they actually dropped to about 17% in last year's polls, and part of that issues also attributed to the rise of the MK party in the province. Mr. Radebe, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. So you heard what the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, had to say yesterday, labeling the state of the ANC and KZN as quite a dire one. You dropped to 17% in last year's elections. Of course, you've now been brought in to revive the ANC in that province. How are things faring so far?
Well, it is true that we dropped to 17% in the elections last year in KwaZulu-Natal for a variety of reasons. But what is important is that there is a new beginning there in KwaZulu-Natal with the establishment of the provincial task team, of which I have a privilege of leading since February of this year, where we are moving from ground zero, root and branch, brick and brick, rebuilding and renewing the organization so that you can be able to ensure that there is a turnaround. And we're already seeing some green shoots in that effort because there are many branches now that are being relaunched in KwaZulu-Natal. Our structures are vibrant, but still a long way to go. What is very important is that the coming local government elections in 2026 will be the litmus test of showing whether this rebuilding and renewal program is bearing fruit. But we are very confident with the dynamism of the people that are there, especially young people and women who are part of those who are putting their shoulders to the wheel to drive this program of renewal.
And what challenges have you identified as a task team? I know in his analysis of the party, he had indicated, Mbalula had indicated the weak branches, factionalism, crime, corruption. What other challenges have you identified as a task team?
Well, those are normal problems that we have encountered there, where people are not responding to the cries of communities. So that's why we've started campaigns of going back to communities, reviving membership of the ANC, making sure that those people that are going to be councillors for next year are people who do not only for the ANC but for the communities of which they serve. They must stop serving themselves, but they must serve our people.
I know it's still too early, very early to judge how your performance will be ahead of next year's local government elections, but your predictions, or maybe what mark have you set as the ANC in KZN? What mark do you actually want to achieve?
Well, I'm an eternal optimist. Some time ago, not so long ago, in historic terms, they thought that the regime was so powerful that it can never be defeated. But our people working together, at the helm of which was the ANC and our allies, we moved brick by brick to bring down this edifice of apartheid in 1994. So I believe too that in KwaZulu-Natal, we are going to be the comeback kid as the ANC.
Okay, as the comeback kid of the ANC, before we bring in Ubab Amos Masondo, what contributions will you be making to this NGC?
Well, NGC, we've come with a contingent of women and men, young activists of the organization from KwaZulu-Natal. We made sure that for every branch, they must elect 3 proposed 3 delegates, of which 2 must be women. So we are properly represented. Even in the commission I was attending to, I was very proud to see the contributions of all our delegates were in that commission, making very valuable contributions. So we are there, not as spectators, but as people, not with shame, but with confidence, with vigor, that once again, the ANC must rise from the ashes of 17% of 2024.
Mr. Khatebe, thank you so much for your time. Let me just bring in Ubab Masondo, of course, that was ANC veteran Jeff Khatebe, who is at the helm of the ANC's task team. And Dr. Masondo, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. We've been talking to various, ANC representatives across this weekend and across, I beg your pardon, across this week. And we've been speaking and zooming in on a number of, discussion documents of the ANC. I want us to zoom in on the organizational renewal and the mobilizing support. Yesterday, in his midterm review, the Secretary General of the ANC, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, had said that the ANC has lost the support of the middle strata, basically the middle class. I think your observations of this and what you make of it, especially as we head to next year's local government elections.
No, thank you for having me, and greetings to the viewers. The ANC is the oldest liberation organization on the African continent. It is an organization that has got very strong roots, abiding roots in our communities. And this includes the middle strata, who, as you well know, have come into being as a result of the intervention of the liberation movement. The organization has been grappling with the issue of really ensuring that the losses that we suffered in the 2024 provincial and national elections are reversed. And in this regard, we've been doing a lot of work. One of which, and central to what we've been doing, is to rebuild the organization at the branch level. And we've met with the branches through our own structures. For instance, we've had the provincial trust team, Lekgotla, which brought along the structures together. And to answer a very, very basic question, and the question in relation to organization is to remind ourselves, why is it that we are organizing people? Why are we organizing people? What is it that needs to be done to ensure that we maximize the mobilization and organization of our people? And what are the targets that we are setting for ourselves? And ultimately, really, to answer the question, what are the things that we think need to be done to ensure that we build a better quality of life for all our people?
As a person who's been there, who's cut his teeth into politics at a very young age, you've been the ANC for a very long time. When your strategic partner and alliance member, the SACP, says, listen, they've made up their mind, they are contesting the elections alone. I mean, how detrimental is this for the ANC? Yes, delegates are expected to discuss this matter behind closed doors, but it seems as if it's a done deal. I mean, the real impact of this, looking at next year's elections.
The ANC has adopted a view that we should be patient with the South African Communist Party. And it's an ally that the ANC has had for many, many years. And we began interacting and building a relationship with the party as far back as the 1920s. And this relationship of course grew and became stronger over time. When the ANC was just about to be banned, the Communist Party was declared illegal and was banned in 1950. And the ANC was banned in 1960 and subsequently continued to carry out its work underground and so on. Over the years in exile, the ANC and SACP worked together. Coming back from exile after the unbanning, we've worked together. We've been involved in various campaigns, including, for instance, being together in government and working together in relation to legislature and parliamentary related work at both national, provincial, and at local level.
Just to cut you in there, Mr. Masondo, when you say that the ANC is very patient with the SACP, are you hoping that the SACP will rethink its decision?
I'm of the view that we do need a rethink, and I'm hoping that the solution is found sooner, and that we begin to work in such a way that we take into account the views that may be expressed by the Communist Party and the things and come to an agreement about the things that needs to be done given the new period and the times that we are in.
Mr. Masondo, thank you so much for your time and of course for your reflections. That, of course, was Mr. Amos Masondo, an ANC, a veteran united, just also optimistic and, hopeful that the SACP will rethink its decision of going it alone at next year's polls. A number of reflections are coming through from the floor, from the media center. We hope to speak to the ANC chairperson in the Northwest in the next hour. Of course, this is also crucial as this province, United, will be hosting the ANC's January 8th statement next year. We'll be speaking to him about his reflections, his contributions as a province, and as a province also that struggles with their local municipalities. One of the local municipalities was recently put under administration around October earlier on this year. So these are just some of the reflections that we hope and in the engagements that we hope on having with Mr. Nono Maloi. But that said, it's back to you in studio for now.
Right, Natasha Phiri there for us. Thank you so much for that. Of course, engaging with ANC leaders as well as veterans at the party's NGC. It's day 2 in Boksburg on the East Rand. Of course, at the moment, delegates are discussing policy documents in various commissions at that particular General Council.